Hello, dear Sinceres. I hope you had a lovely equinox and are enjoying the spring if in the northern hemisphere, and that you're enjoying autumn if on the southern hemisphere. On this video, we are going to talk about the new moon in Aries. That is happening on the 1st of April at 6:24 UK time, and it will be accompanied by a Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in Pisces and a Mars-Saturn and also Venus, even though far, also conjunction, and they will be within orb. And these conjunctions seem to be the more kind of noticeable aspects happening. However, they can be a very powerful influence. And I'll be reading the energies of that day as well, which will also be similar to my April predictions video that I'll be posting very soon, as the new moon will also fall on the first day of April. And of course, I'll also have a new moon ritual, but I have this time around made that on a separate video that I will be linking and that you can find out so you can make the most of the energy of this new moon. And so with the rituals now, I'll be separating them in a separate video because I think that the rituals that I'm kind of posting can also be done in other periods during the year, and that you will be able to invoke those energies. And the only thing is that I just don't recommend that you do them on the full moon time. And so now talking about new moon in Aries is the first of the zodiacal year, and so we are in a new zodiacal year. As it talks about a new beginning, a coming of spring, and it's a bit like a rebirth. This is a period when we want to really get on with our plans, we want to really get going. It's a second chance to plant new seeds, to launch new projects, and we might be feeling a little like making big changes and alterations for our lives. Is a bit like a New Year's. There is this sense of wanting newness in our lives, transformation, seeing changes happening and making things happen instead of just dreaming about them and just hoping that they happen on their own. And so Aries as a sign is the pioneer of the zodiac. He is the first, the number one, and the explorer of new territories. He's the bringer of new promises, willing to take chance, to take risks, of being bold, daring, and going where no one has ever been. And with the new moon in Aries, things are quick, fast, no time to wallow in sadness or passivity, to cry. We have too much to conquer in life and get going, dreams and goals to achieve. Our mind is laser focused. And with this new moon, we will also have Mercury conjuncting the new moon. And we want to know what is ours so we can get whatever plans and new territory in our life we are aiming to conquer. And this is the perfect time to go for it, to take that chance of being daring and being bold. And this new moon doesn't dwell in the past, because what's far long gone is past life. And now it's time to think about the present and the future. What do you want? Why do you want it? And why it should be yours? And if you have any doubts, then why not be yours? Aries is all about being self-confident, and is also a theme for self-esteem, of knowing we deserve fulfillment not just of our needs, but also our desires and aspirations in life. Mars rules Aries, and Mars is a youthful planet, a young man or woman who is ready to conquer the world that has all of life ahead of them. is full of promise and all the greatness that they will come to. They feel this as they try to accomplish and build their empires. And of course, such attitude is also added of some naivety and sometimes even a slight blind optimism, which is natural to being a very young person, especially in young age. But as we speak of the new moon in Aries, these are present energies that will be there during the new moon and that we can grab on to give an impulse to what we want to achieve this year in this new zodiacal year, as the spring brings the light of the sun and the flowers are blooming and the animals having new progeny, and there's this kind of general vibration to enjoy life and to take the best that it has to offer, to drink the juiciness of life till the last drop. Now is the time to make sure you are taking action, you are putting all plans that you've made in January with a done sign, to face any fears that were keeping you stuck, to dare, to be bold, to get to work. Your dreams are your job to make true. And unless you add action to you accomplishing your dreams, nothing is going to happen. So get off your bum and let's go, because the time is now. And looking at the chart, we will also be having Mercury, which I already mentioned, and Chiron conjuncting this new moon in Aries. And Mercury here is very focused, clear on what it wants, motivating and confident that it will get it. It belongs to them. It's bold and happy to lead others. So we may be more expressive of our ideas and getting others to join our cause towards a direction that we want to go. And the thinking, the Mercury in Aries, is very fast, bold, and motivating, but also can bring some impulsivity, reactionary attitudes, and make communication a bit more fiery or escalating it into arguments. Chiron brings opportunity to move past old pains, to regenerate and take motivations from the pain towards where we plan to go in the future. So taking that pain out, and even the current pains that we are collectively experience can somewhat become a fuel to move on, to do what must be done and focus on what really matters. Because wailing in pain in Aries, in the Aries sign, is a pure waste of precious time. Aries does not have time to be in pain. We are also going to have a very close conjunction of Jupiter and Neptune. These two planets are very, very spiritual, so we might see a spiritual wave that will be sweeping the planet, and many people might currently actually be adopting new, deeper perspective in the human collective. But at the same time, Neptune being the hyper idealistic and a very foggy planet, with Jupiter, which is also very much about idealism, and it expands everything it touches, might bring a tendency to idealize things too much. So you might be missing the practical side of things, that things need to be done to achieve them. There might be tendencies to escape from reality. We might see a higher intake of psychedelics, alcohol, and drugs, and it may fog our vision. We may think that we see that what we are seeing is accurate, but as we get closer, we realize we were looking at a distorted image. Neptune is water, big areas of water, and so Jupiter expands. And in some areas of the globe, we actually might see floods happening, or too much rain in certain areas. Neptune also talks about any earthy natural liquids resources. So, as we've seen with the oil crisis and the increase of prices through the roof, is very typical of a Neptune-Jupiter conjunction. as Jupiter also talks of wealth and finances, and as an expansive planet, is not like to discriminate what it will expand. So when Jupiter joins in with another planet, the prices association, the financial association to the sign and the planet will also tend to rise as well. And I might be making a video with more information on this conjunction soon. I'm not too sure because I'm very short of time, but keep an eye on it because there's a lot to say about this conjunction. Another thing of note that many astrologers also associate viruses with Neptune influence. So it's quite possible that we perhaps will hear about new variants of the COVID pandemic coming up, and well, don't be surprised if that happens. And the other aspect we have is a Venus conjuncting Saturn, which might be making us either more serious about romance and love, or more established in our current relationships, our values and self esteem on the positive side, but usually it's this more negative kind of mix because Saturn usually acts as a malefic in astrology and it can actually, with Venus, hurt our self esteem. A mixed question our romantic relationships, our romantic dreams, if they are even worth pursuing, because this is also all happening in Aquarius. And also, a part of us might feel more detached altogether from all these subjects and kind of decide to focus more on the humanitarian themes and the future. And on the collective level, it's more that we may come to terms that, hey, we may never have the perfect, harmonious, fraternal humanity because Saturn kind of doesn't allow us to dream far, but we can try somehow to get along from this aspect of Venus in Aquarius because it's more about themes of love regarding humanity and humanitarian values. And also it's very much also about many charities and providing aid to people we see around us that need our help, trying to bring help to others. And with the Saturn conjunction can kind of bring a bit of a delusion and disillusion because it's not so easy. Saturn brings restrictions and makes things slower, harder, more difficult to achieve. It can also bring fears and doubts. But also it matures with experience and it comes to teach us something. So we may actually have this kind of mixed feeling where we feel that humanitarian goals and how a beautiful humanitarian future is not so much within grasp. Now, what we really need to worry is about the conjunction between Saturn and Mars, because when this pair is together, it's really not good news and it can worsen conflict scenarios, escalate tensions between countries, and is usually associated with military action. And so, as this conjunction moves to be more exact, which is really, really close by now, and it will be more exact, I think, between the 4th and the 6th of April, we may see perhaps, unfortunately, escalation of the current war issues or even military events of some kind. Hopefully not, but it's possible. But on the positive side of conjunction, because it can be both negative and positive, it can influence to be more focused, determined, unstoppable, almost like a machine with a super rigorous discipline and tremendous willpower to achieve what we want. On the negative, it can make us more bellic, aggressive in our pursuits, hyper competitive to the point of creating unnecessary enemies or even going into intense arguments quite easily or fights with others, being very reactionary. It's a bit of bullying, abusive aspect, and these conjunctions, as I said, can be both good and bad. You can have both of these aspects manifest. And then we have Venus, Saturn, and Mars. Venus and Mars are very distant, almost out of conjunction, but right now they still are in conjunction, and now these three planets are squaring Uranus. So it will kind of bring the tensions of collective pursuit, for freedom might be going against the restrictions that the government might try to impose, but by taking different actions. So, and the government might be even more try to do this in a more determined way because of the Mars being closed in more bellic ways, and we can also see more cyber attacks and even earthquakes or volcanoes, kind of unexpected disasters occurring. We may even see violence like connected to mass killings or terrorist attacks, because this is something that this aspect between Saturn and Mars, and even kind of having this square with Uranus, can bring. And so that is all I have to say for now about this new moon that is going to occur. I hope that you take all of these energies in Aries to achieve your goals, to achieve your dreams, to make new plans, to start the new zodiacal year. And hopefully the things in globally won't be as bad. Let's pray, and I will see you shortly, I hope, for the new moon ritual. If you want to do that, it will be in another video that I will link. Until then, please feel free to visit me at cynthiasincere.com and my website for checking the types of readings that I offer for astrology, and also my holistic coaching that I offer as well. And I hope to see you on the next video. May the cosmos and the stars be with you.